Welcome to No Compromises, a peek into the mind of two old web devs who have seen some things. This is Joel.
And this is Aaron.
I am in the presence of a longtime blogger, Mr. Aaron.
Mm-hmm.
And I know over the years you've enjoyed sharing, teaching, mentoring, all these different things. And one of the ways you've done that is through your blog. And you've kind of done less of that, if it's fair to say that, maybe on social media. And that's a common place where people share hot tips or something new they learned. And so I just thought it might be interesting to kind of talk through your thought process and things you found valuable over the years and share that with everybody.
Yeah, so I think one of the reasons why I have a long running blog, and mind you, I've been writing. There's over 500 entries, probably 600 now. I've been writing for over a decade, probably 15 years. And so, first little aside, if you go back and look at some of the really old ones, it's embarrassing how much or how
Well, now
silly
I'm
I
going
wrote.
to.
Yeah, see, that was my evil plan. Get more readers.
Oh boy,
you better not read this. It's embarrassing.
Content marketing expert.
but so I kind of started it out because especially back then there was a lot less resources. There wasn't like a Stack Overflow or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to make sure that I shared and taught things. And the reason is because I learned a long time ago that when you teach stuff is how you really learn it. So you can know something, but when you force yourself to teach someone that thing, then you have to maybe sometimes relearn it again or learn the why or be for sure that that's how it works.
Right.
Because if you're going to tell someone, you shouldn't just be making up stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was like one of the tools that I also did to kind of cement the learning in my head. Is I when I learned something new or whatever, I would write a blog entry about it, a little bit more of a long form. I would explain, hey, here's the issue, here's some code examples, and maybe here's why this is a good idea.
Yeah, I've experienced that. I think back to when we had the PHP meetup in town here, and we'd present, and it'd be something that I knew inside and out. But then you kind of, when you're organizing your thoughts, you sort of anticipate questions that people might ask you, and it does force you to go deeper and to make sure you really understand it and aren't just like parroting something that you heard somebody else say and you did, but you don't really know why you do it. So I like that. That's a good approach.
Yeah, and it actually kind of saves me from what I would consider embarrassing little faux pas and wrong things online as well. Is I was gonna go on Mastodon or Twitter and tweet about something I just saw, and I was like, "Oh, this is really cool," and this is how it works. I was writing a tweet or toot, um, and I was like, you know what, this would actually make a good blog entry. So I stopped what I was doing and I started writing the blog entry and I was detailing out and I ran everything. And all of a sudden I wrote everything. I was on like the 3/4 through the blog entry. And I'm like, wait a second. Oh, that's not how it works.
Oh, okay.
And so I basically quote understood how it wrote or it works, wrote a whole entry about it. At the very last step of doing that thing, I was taking like screenshots and code samples and stuff. It did something unexpected to me. Turns out it was the way it was working, and I just misunderstood it. And I was just lucky, quote lucky, all the way through my blog entry that the way I misunderstood it was still lining up with what it was actually doing. And so I think I ended up like deleting that blog entry then, that draft, because I'm like, wow, this isn't what it does. And, now that I understand what it does, this is a little bit different. It's a little bit outside of what I specialize in. It's not something I want to talk about and share, but at least now I know it. And I'm so glad I did that, because otherwise I could have went on Twitter or Mastodon and shared out something and I would have been wrong because I misunderstood how the tool works.
Yeah. And again, we know we're not perfect, so we will make mistakes, but there's a difference between making an unavoidable mistake. And it sounded like your process here kind of led you to realize, oh, I didn't fully understand this. Maybe a bit of an aside, but I just want to throw it in here because I've been thinking about this lately is, I love the impulse to share, to try to, especially in the Laravel community, there's a lot of people sharing tips and tricks and little code screenshots and hot tips and fire emojis and all that good stuff. And that's fine. I mean, that's great. I've enjoyed those. I know I've shared them with you, and then you're like, shut up, Joel. I already knew that. But one thing I've seen, and I'm trying not to be critical here, but I'll just share it because I've been thinking it, which is some of them are really great. Oh, I didn't know that, or that's an interesting take on it, or that's a way I haven't considered doing something before. But then there's like a bunch of them that literally look like somebody printed out the Laravel manual, threw a dart at the wall, and it hit like a collection method, and they're like, "That's a hot tip." And I get that people are at different steps in their learning journey, and especially if they haven't read the docs, they might not know that. But the ones I find especially valuable are tips that clearly came out of somebody learning something, using it, and having an aha moment themselves. Like they weren't just trying to generate a tip to share. Like this was genuinely interesting to them, and they
Right.
felt compelled to share it. Like, am I alone in this, Aaron? Come on, bail me out.
No, I think you're right. I would say I would adjust what you said is I don't respect the impulse to share. I respect the desire to share. Those
Okay, what's the
are
difference
two.
in your mind?
Yeah, those are two different things. Impulse is, I mean, think about impulsive people. Oh, just do a thing, you
Okay,
know.
yeah,
Whereas desire is, I really want to share and teach
sure,
people,
yeah,
but there's a process to that. And usually, when you have a desire to teach, a desire to grow, or whatever, it's
yeah.
the catalyst to doing something correctly. Where impulsive things are just like kind of blasting out to the world and
Mm,
hoping it was right, and then you just
right.
add so much noise, and
Yeah,
so Joel's being very nice here. I will be a little bit more grading and
good.
say I don't think I don't think there's any point in like looking at the manual, finding
Yeah,
something in the manual and tweeting it verbatim. Like,
right,
then just tweet the link to the manual.
right.
I
Yeah,
understand that not everyone reads the manual straight through like I do because they're not that weird.
I'd say very
Um,
few people do that. But anyways, go on.
but at some point you have to say just look at the source. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, I'd say there's a difference between an impulse and desire.
yeah,
And I like the desire to teach and learn and share, but make sure it's something like you just said, which is share, like something that's unique, actually unique, not
right.
just plagiarism.
Yeah, and like uniqueness is one part of it, but it's also like I know there's very few original thoughts, right, in the entire world, but there's a difference of something that is manufactured versus something that was like almost discovered, right? And so what I try to do when I'm going through the day working on a project, writing code, is just sort of keep my mind open. Like, was there anything I struggled with, or was there anything I really liked? Sometimes, Aaron, like you've given me a code review comment and I'm like a little mad at first. And then I'm like, wait a second, that's kind of nice. I'll share that and it'll be my idea now. And Aaron will get no credit. But anyway, so that was just a little bit of an aside. I didn't want to completely torpedo the discussion, but I feel better for
Yeah,
speaking my mind.
you cranky old man.
Yeah.
So the last sort of reason why I think blogging, like having this long form content is probably a good idea too, and not just being on Twitter or Mastodon, is you never know what's going to happen with those tools.
Mhm.
They're owned by someone else. Let's just even talk about like Stack Overflow,
Okay.
which Stack Exchange is actually owned by, currently at time of recording, owned by like an investment firm.
Oh,
So there's no, they're not just doing it for the good of the world. They're trying to make money,
yeah.
and so you basically build all this content and you put it on there, which is fine. But then you no longer control it. They could just turn off. They could,
Right.
these systems like Twitter could just kick you off, and you've lost this whole archive of stuff that you've been working on.
I
And
can't
and
picture
so
that happening, but okay.
so I'm not saying that you shouldn't use those tools. It
Yeah.
absolutely should. That's
Yeah.
discoverability and that's sharing and stuff.
Hmm.
But when most of the content that I've shared over the years came from a backing of my blog, and so even if the flavor of the month tool to connect with people goes away,
Yeah.
I still have the core, the source of all this stuff on my website, and also in like a source that I could reuse later if I needed.
Yeah, that's a good point. So you're using the different channels, but kind of what's your base channel, having it be something you own.
Yeah.
We like to talk a lot about food. And that's why I was at the grocery store the other day. And there's a product in the refrigerated section right next to the eggs.
Hmm.
And the product is called Just Egg. So Aaron,
Oh
if I were
yeah.
to say to you, what do you think Just Egg is? Something called Just Egg. What do you think that product is?
I would think it was solely and completely an egg.
Right. But interestingly, this product is completely not an egg. It's it's like a vegetarian substitution for an egg. But I'm like, I get that. And I even understand putting it on the shelf next to it because that's where you'd logically look. But to call it just egg is like actually the opposite of what it is. Am I dumb?
Yeah, it should be like almost egg, or
I can't believe it's not egg.
Like, yeah, exactly.
So that and you know what? Maybe you'd buy it by accident and it'd be great. Like I've never tried it, so I'm not judging the quality of the product. But here's one I will. I have accidentally bought fat-free whipping cream, and if you know anything about dairy, like whipping cream is the highest fat content, like the most dairy of the dairy. So I can't imagine buying that except by mistake. And so like the package looks identical to the real whipping cream, but it just has a little ribbon that says fat free. And I did pour that out and it was no good.
Yeah, I don't know what that's made of, like chemicals and sadness.
Exactly. Yeah. Probably more than just cream.
We're always working on mastering Laravel.io, and we've added some more content to it.
Head over to our site and check out the articles section, which features some original articles and some articles from our blogs. MasteringLaravel.io.